You know, friends, there's a very real kind of suffering that doesn't get talked about enough. It's the fear of death. Not in a dramatic movie scene way, but in the quiet moments, in the stillness, in the 2 a.m. thoughts that come out of nowhere, such as, what happens when I'm gone? Will I still exist? What if it's just nothing? What if I leave people behind? And if you're dealing with any kind of anxiety already, those questions don't feel philosophical. They feel urgent. Like your whole nervous system is trying to protect you from a reality it can't understand. So let's talk about this today, not to solve death, not to pretend we have answers, but to loosen fear's grip just a little, to breathe again in a place where the mind often holds its breath. I'm glad you're here. Let's dive in. Welcome to another important video on my channel, my friends. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and hit the bell for all the notifications. If you'd like to learn more about any of my anxiety recovery programs, click here at any point in the video. Now, my friends, many people assume death anxiety is about death. It usually isn't. What I've seen, what I lived myself, and what thousands of you have shared with me is that death anxiety is really about losing control, losing identity, losing certainty. It's about the fear of letting go, the fear that if you're not in charge, if you're not planning, analyzing, gripping tightly enough, something terrible will happen. That's not the fear of death. That's the same survival system that fuels health anxiety, panic, and hypervigilance. It's the nervous system saying, I don't feel safe with the unknown, and death is the ultimate unknown, right? So instead of trying to answer what happens after life, which no one can do with absolute certainty, let's focus on what we can do. We can shift from dread to curiosity. We can learn how to live fully now. Because maybe the opposite of fearing death isn't knowing. Maybe it's trusting life. Because I want you to know that if you fear death, there's nothing wrong with you. This doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you not spiritual enough. Your nervous system is doing what it was designed to do, protect you. And at some point in your life, the unknown did not feel safe. Maybe you lost someone young. Maybe you had panic attacks and your brain associated sensations with danger, right? Maybe you grew up needing control to feel secure. Or maybe you just woke up one day in adulthood and thought, wait, I'm not here forever? That realization hits hard, trust me. It shook me as well. And it's okay to be shaken, my friends. You see, most people think the fear is, what if I stop existing? But often, underneath that is, what if I never truly lived while I was here? What if I leave too early? What if I never feel safe enough to enjoy life? Can you relate? Comment below. Death fear shows up strongest when life feels restricted, when you are surviving, not living. So our aim isn't to solve death, it's to reclaim life. And the more you build a relationship with your body, with the present moment, with enoughness, with being here, the less death feels like an abrupt ending, and the more it feels like a continuation of a journey you're already connected to. I don't claim to know what happens after we leave these bodies, my friends. No one walking around this planet does. But here's something interesting. Across cultures, across history, across spiritual traditions, people describe something beyond, something continuous, something connected. Not disappearing, but expanding. Not ending, but returning. You don't need to believe that. You don't need to adopt a spiritual philosophy. Just allow the possibility that fear doesn't hold the full picture. Let wonder sit at the same table as worry. You don't have to choose one today. They can coexist while you heal. When the mind says, "But I need to know," you don't answer logic with logic. You answer fear with safety. Try this reframe with me now out loud. I don't need absolute certainty right now. I need to teach my system that uncertainty isn't danger. Every time you soften instead of tense, breathe instead of brace, feel instead of resist, you're not moving toward death, you're moving toward life. Let's take just a few extra seconds now together to feel into today's message even more deeply. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice your breath. Notice the fact that you are here, not in the future, not in the unknown. Right now, you exist. You are breathing. Life is happening in your chest, your ribs, your pulse. Let the body feel. I don't need to solve forever. I just need to be here now. That's where peace grows, my friends. Not from answers, but from presence. Remember, you don't need to force acceptance of death today. You don't need to feel brave. You don't need to transcend fear. Just let yourself consider this. Maybe the unknown isn't empty. Maybe it's not a threat. Maybe it's not a dark room waiting for you. Maybe it's a doorway we walk through when we're ready. But for now, your job isn't to prepare for leaving life. Your job is to be in life, to feel, to love, to heal, to build safety so deep inside yourself that one day uncertainty doesn't feel like danger. It feels like mystery. And mystery can be held, not feared. I'm here with you in this, my friends. You're not alone, and you are more than anxiety. If this helped you soften even 1% around this topic, I am grateful. And if you're working through fear, uncertainty, symptoms, or the daily battle with your nervous system, remember, the #1 rated anxiety recovery programs are waiting for you right here. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I love you all so very much. Give this video a like, comment below, let's connect. Bye, my friends.